And this is a high IQ developed society. I don't think Taiwanese would do that because the first decade was really miserable. I think Taiwan is such a unique place because people might say it's the same like Korea, but actually it's not. So it was a different place, and after a decade I was really exhausted and depressed. You see those like Parasite and Squid Game, the society is always sad, they are depressed, they are struggling. I don't think Taiwan is like that. I'm more committed, I do it out of my free will. And then if I have to fight for Taiwan, that's what I really, those people who would fight for Taiwan would be really committed, they would want to do it. I felt like I belonged to Asia, I liked it. I think the gain, making Taiwan safer, I think that's worth it.
Hi, 大家好，欢迎来 Welcome to Taiwan. Today we are in Taipei to have a chat with our friend. Before we start, please don't forget to click the subscription button, like the video, help us share if you can.
My name is Richard and I'm from Poland. I came here 23 years ago. And at the beginning I was a sales for 5 years, but I didn't like it. I don't fit the corporate lifestyle. Then I started teaching, and now I do two things. First, I have my own online courses for job interview preparation, stuff like that. And the second one, I'm a huge Bitcoin fan, so I buy Bitcoin, or if you can say I invest in Bitcoin. I also had my own radio show in Poland, probably the only one in the world, called Studio Taipei, for over 2 years on a national radio station, and a YouTube channel about safety and security.
Can you speak Chinese?
Yeah, a little bit. I write rather, I don't speak that much. I like writing.
But you're here for 23 years. What could be the reason why you couldn't speak
Because Taiwanese English is quite good, so yeah. And also, I came here without really speaking Chinese, and then I really never picked it up. I was always speaking English with I do understand a bit, I read and write, but it's not enough to have a free life with Chinese language.
Okay, you know, some people will claim if you're here this long and you couldn't,
I agree.
Speak the language,
I agree.
Like, you kind of don't want to integrate into the society.
No, because I study Chinese. I regularly study a few times a week, and yeah, you're right, one could say that. But I do actively learn Chinese. Maybe I'm just too dumb to learn it, but I have to say it's my fifth language. After Finnish, French, German, English, now it's Chinese. Somehow Chinese is the worst. Like, I really don't know why it doesn't work. Maybe next life.
Let's go back memory lane.
Yes.
Why do you choose to come to Taiwan in the first place?
When I was 15, my parents bought a flight to Thailand, and I really felt amazing, like a place where I belong, kind of like you discover your sexuality. And even my mother said I was totally different. So that was when I was 15, and a decade later, I went to China. And again, then at 25, I realized that's where I belong. I went there 3 times within the next 5 years. I started writing a PhD in Poland, and one day my professor said, there are scholarships to Taiwan, you can go. I said, yeah, so I came for 1 year in 2002.
Before your professor proposed coming to Taiwan on a scholarship, what do you know about Taiwan?
Not much. I was mostly interested in North Korea, where my parents lived at that time, about China. And that's what I was studying and researching. At that time, Taiwan was not that famous, like it's not in a spotlight like now. It was just a place for manufacturing. Now it's let's say, a hotspot.
So when coming to Taiwan, as you said, you don't know much about Taiwan. What were your expectations? What do you expect to find here or to? Yeah,
not that much, because my experience was limited. The thing that surprised me a lot was I really expected a woman to be very submissive, and I expected, like in Japan, high and bowing. But actually what I realized is that Taiwanese women are very modern, very sophisticated, at the same time very feminine. There is in the West the problem with feminists and women who, as they claim, don't need men. Here, women fulfill those feminist demands. They are very independent, they have great jobs, but at the same time, they are still women, and they treat you as a man, and they take care of you. So those both qualities surprised me a lot. At the same time, they are very much present in business, in companies. They have high positions. So that was a surprise. And the other thing what surprised me was the kindness and selflessness of Taiwanese people. I didn't expect it. I read, for example, Taipan by James Clavell, and he portrays Hong Kongers as kind of calculated people, but here it was the opposite. I didn't think about that.
From the first moment you arrived in Taiwan to the point where you found your feet, could you please take us through things that you've experienced, the difficulties that you've come across?
Yeah, that's a very interesting question because the first decade was really miserable. My marriage didn't work out as I hoped. Financially, I was doing so-so. I wasn't poor, but I wasn't making a lot of money. And so at that time, Taipei wasn't so international like now. There wasn't much Western food and there was a lot of air pollution. So it was a different place. And after a decade, I was really exhausted and depressed. So I went to Berlin, where I grew up as a child. So I came to Taipei in 2010, after 1.5 years in Germany, or 11. And I changed everything. I dumped friends who were clubbing. I divorced my first wife. I started working a lot, investing a lot, and my life turned for the better. I met my second wife, and we have a great relationship. I met a new community. I was exposed to new friends, and the second decade is definitely, I would say every year is better than the last one. So really, I like it a lot now.
When you come in here to complete your PhD, do you have this intention of staying this long?
No. I just thought that's a one-year scholarship, and actually I met my first wife by coincidence at a birthday party, and yeah, we just fell in love. I didn't intend to stay here, no.
Then why did you stay? Because of the wife, or there are other reasons?
Yeah, that's a good question. It was a lot. That was definitely the wife. As I said, I felt like I belonged to Asia. I liked it. And also, I've been thinking about this a lot in my life. And I think there is my family from my mother's side, my mother, brother, and I think we have like a risk gene. I think we take risks easily.
You mentioned you feel like you belong in Asia. Can you explain that? What do you mean you belong? what makes you belong?
I feel better here. I like everything. I enjoy the lifestyle. It's a bit chaotic. I don't like the first world that much. I prefer the second world.
What is the most difficult challenge that you've overcome or yet to overcome in Taiwan?
Wow. I think so far everything is great as of now. At the beginning, I would say it was adapting here. Like what I really couldn't take at the beginning was one of the disadvantages, I have to say, the loud eating, the slurping and belching. That was a big issue for me.
You mean the loud eating?
Yes, like with open mouth. And so it used to be the traffic, but now I think it's getting better, right?
Maybe you're used to it now.
Yeah, no, I think it's like the drivers look more they look for pedestrians, they let them walk.
Paying
yes,
more attention to pedestrians.
Yes, so I think it's like you have MRT lines, everywhere, and U-bikes. So I think it's slowly getting better. I think in Taipei is greener, and you have a lot of those small coffee shops and restaurants everywhere. That wasn't like that. For example, I live here in Wuxingjie, next where we are now. And when I moved in here a decade ago, it was basically empty. But now we have shops, coffee shops, restaurants. Like it's really booming and thriving.
Okay, so I want to ask about this Studio Taipei.
Yes.
Is it Studio Taipei or Studio Taiwan?
It was called Studio Taipei.
Studio Taipei.
And my own personal channel is called Studio Asia on YouTube. So I had a Studio Taipei on the radio and a Studio Asia, which is my own YouTube channel.
So if you don't mind me asking,
yes,
on this Studio Taipei, what do you guys talk about?
At the beginning, it was usually me talking about security, safety, and about the relationships here, the society. But I noticed there wasn't much response, so it wasn't doing well. So I came up with this idea to invite friends. So I found Poles living in Asia, and I connected with a very interesting guy in Phuket, a guy in Seoul, in Korea, another one in Philippines, and invite them, usually two, with me on the show. And three of us, we were discussing, society, women, money, and just three different points of view from, let's say, Korea or Philippines, from Phuket, Thailand, and from Taipei. So we were introducing three different ways of living in Asia. And that was doing much better.
Yeah, it seems very interesting. So talking to all these people, sharing their experience in where they live, what stands out most about Taiwan?
I think Taiwan is such a unique place because it's more developed than Thailand. Obviously, it's doing better, it's richer, it's more advanced. And People might say it's the same like Korea, but actually it's not. From what I see, Koreans have more pressure, more competition, more debt. The political life is more corrupt. They're dominated by few huge companies and families. You see those like Parasite and Squid Game. The society is always sad. They're depressed. They're struggling. I don't think Taiwan is like that. People are happier. Their life is more relaxed. They're not so competitive in a bad way. And even the plastic surgery in Korea, like they have those standards. They always want something else. Taiwanese are not like that. They don't want to be someone else. Being Taiwanese is good, okay, but Koreans need to change themselves physically, mentally.
All right, you talked about this Bitcoin investment stuff. There are many people out there that knows about this stuff, but some people still have the fear of the scam sort of. Would you please tell us what are the fear that people have? Is it real?
Yeah, that's a great question. We have to distinguish cryptocurrencies versus Bitcoin. Bitcoin is unique and different. That's why it's number one. That's why it dominates the crypto market, because Bitcoin, I will not go into details, but please don't confuse. Cryptocurrencies is not Bitcoin. So I'm talking about Bitcoin. Cryptocurrencies are usually scams, and I wouldn't even touch it. I did. I made some money on it, but it's dangerous, it's risky. All of them go down compared to Bitcoin. Like when you measure them against Bitcoin, they all go down over years. So that's sort of what I'm talking about. That's why countries are adopting Bitcoin, because it's decentralized, it's free. If I want to send Bitcoin to you, no one in the world can stop us.
There is this notion that if you don't have a Taiwanese ID or an APRC, you can do this kind of investment stuff. Do you have an APRC here? Or?
I have an APRC, but you have to register. That's true. Yeah, but I bought from different sources. I bought from exchange in Europe. I bought from exchanges here. I bought privately from miners. So from different sources. So actually, you can buy also. You can find somebody you buy from. But it's definitely easier if you have an ID and you can register, yes.
All right, so your YouTube channel now is about this Bitcoin?
Yes, I'm just starting it, so it's still not online, it's just ongoing.
Okay, you also talked about job interview.
Yes, I'm on a platform and people who are looking for jobs, I met hundreds, actually thousands of Taiwanese.
What do you have in your country that you miss not having here in Taiwan?
For example, I like shooting. I go to a shooting range in Poland. I can't do it here. That's what I miss.
Taiwan, they don't have shooting range?
Not with like live ammunition, like you have in the US. You can't.
So you want to use live ammunition?
I would like to own a gun. I can't here. In Poland, I can.
Okay.
So I miss it because of my political views, freedom. I think we all should be allowed to carry a gun.
Many people claim Taiwan is very safe.
Yes.
Do you agree to this?
Yes, extremely safe. Yes.
So, what you were just suggesting, you feel like people should be able to carry guns?
Oh, here with regard to China, because I think if Hong Kongers had guns or Taiwanese had guns, I think Xi Jinping would really have to consider coming here, because if let's say 5 million Taiwanese had guns and rifles, then Xi Jinping wouldn't need 200,000, but 1 million soldiers. And he knew that half of them drop dead once they enter the island, because everybody can shoot and women can do first aid, but nobody cares. People just don't care. But I think if we were here allowed to carry guns, to learn to shoot, and it's like Taiwanese say, oh, first we are safe, and second we could run into problems. Not really, because you could keep them in police precincts, and on a weekend people, I know it's not easy, but if you consider the gains, the safety, and that Taiwan would be really safer from China, you could keep them in police precincts, pick them up on a weekend, go to a shooting range, shoot, women would learn first aid, and then attacking Taiwan would be really disastrous for China. You wouldn't need all those big ticket weapons.
Yeah, they do practice how to shoot a gun.
Yes, but then they forget it. Look at it this way.
Do you forget how to shoot a gun? Those are some things. There are some things in life when you learn them, you don't forget them.
But yes, but you are forced to do it. If I could buy a gun, go to a shooting range, I'm more committed. I do it out of my free will. And then if I have to fight for Taiwan, that's what I really, those people who would fight for Taiwan would be really committed. They would want to do it, and not the ones who are forced to do it like a military. So people would have guns, they would know how to shoot, and they would just go out and defend their families. And the army, and there would be like maybe 1 million men with guns, not now like less than 200,000
But
military.
then you'll have people shooting other people on the streets then, like in America.
I don't think so.
Yeah, that's what happened in America.
Yeah, but it doesn't in Israel.
Initially, that wasn't the idea. The idea was people to have guns to protect themselves. And it turns out the other way now, where
Yes.
they're trying to get the guns from away from people. So
Yes,
if you let
but-
Taiwanese also have guns, when anytime someone lose their temper, you know, they could shoot someone with it.
Yes, but you have guns in the Israeli society and Switzerland. They don't shoot each other. So and this is a high IQ developed society. I don't think Taiwanese would do that. And even if there were such shootings, maybe once or twice a year, I think the gain, making Taiwan safer, I think that's worth it.
Okay, if anyone have another view on this, just let us know in the comment section below if Taiwanese should be able to carry a gun or so. What part of Taiwanese culture do you find most fascinating?
Definitely the kindness and selflessness, and that people are so just open and friendly. They are very tolerant. It's a very easy society to live. Like, they don't discriminate. It's a very open, interesting, tolerant society.
Being here for 23 years, I think you could consider yourself as part of the society.
Kind of, yes.
If there are
Also
some
with my
things-
eyes, right?
Yeah, if there are some things that you wish could be different, what could it be? Maybe
Yeah,
one or two.
definitely the education system. And I think that's really a hindrance. Like, people should learn more about finance, about debt, about loans, not so much about ancient Chinese or high-grade math, just more about life, even about dating, how to meet someone, how to choose the right partner, more about just simple life, even how to apply for a job, learn it at school, and how to meet the right person in your life, and not really Chinese from 2,000 years ago. So I would definitely do away maybe with bushibans, and maybe no grades for the first 5 years at school, no exams, just make it easier, relaxed.
Do you have anything else to tell Taiwanese people?
Yeah, maybe force your politicians to allow you carry guns, and force your politicians to adopt Bitcoin. It's all freedom.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much for giving
Thank
us
you for the
your time
invitation.
to share your life
It was a
experience
pleasure.
here in
Thank you.
Taiwan. And hope you continue to enjoy your stay here.
Thank you, I will.
Thank you. All right. Gansie ni sokan. Yo si Juan bu si Juan. Please leave a comment and tell us which part of the video you don't like, or which part of the video we can improve. And see you in our next video. Thank you for watching.
Bye.
Yeah.